This is one of these movies. Eric Holmes and Bruce they're both excited about this film. Hopefully there will be good enough word of mouth. There was going to be a lot of critical acclaim for this movie called Holy Spider. It is inspired by a true story. It centers on a female journalist named Rahimi, played by Zar Amir Ebrahimi. And let me just say one thing. Zar Amir Ebrahimi, she's fantastic in this movie. She won the Best Actress award over the Cannes Film Festival. So there's a lot of awards momentum running with Holy Spider. So she travels from Tehran to the Iranian holy city of Mashhad, and she's investigating a serial killer who murders prostitutes within a square within the city. And what happens with this is she's trying to find the serial killer. You think after at least several women have been killed, okay, and it's a big, real tragedy, calamity, but for some reason she is not getting a ton of help from the police force or even a fellow journalist in the area. So it seems that this journalist, Rahimi, she's waging a one-person battle journey to find this actual killer. And obviously, as the narrative progresses, she will do whatever it takes to make sure this serial killer, who I believe is dubbed the moniker of the film, Holy Spider, she wants to make sure that he is caught. It is written and directed by acclaimed filmmaker Ali Abbasi, the filmmaker behind Border, a movie that I believe Bruce Perky saw several years ago. This is a movie that I feel I should have seen several years ago as well after watching. I believe it might still be streaming on Hulu. I could be wrong, but this guy, Ali Abbasi, is fantastic in this movie. High marks all around. Big barrier to entry, though, regarding this film is it is a serial killer, and you actually get to see you don't get to see him. You see him actually strangle several women. There is a ton of violence in this movie. Whether it is excessive or not, that will be your own. I don't think it's excessive. I think it's true to life, and I'm glad that it was shown. That said, there will be some people who will be walking out or deciding not to watch this movie when they see the violence that is on their respective screen. So again, that is a warning for people, whether you want to see Holy Spider or not. But for me, right now, right off the jump, this is one of my favorite films of the year, hands down. Let's start with Eric Holmes regarding your reaction to Holy Spider.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to say. The first thing I'll start off with is that this is inspired by a true story and not based on a true story. That's about as far as I can go with it, because there's one issue that I had with it, but once I saw it was inspired, and this is kind of, some of it is fictional, but it is based on stuff that actually happened. So just know that going in. What this movie is saying and the ideas and the social, political things that happen to people living in a theocracy is front and center on this. It gets really strong towards the last half of it. This movie is fantastic. Go in thinking that it's a serial killer movie, but it gets to be much more than that. Much like how the Dahmer series starts off typical serial killer fare, and then then the last half is like, okay, we set the table. Now here's what this is really about. Holy Spider does kind of a similar thing, and it does it in like a fraction of the time and very well. I was listening to the Film Vault, and Anderson was saying like, this thing should be up for all the awards, and I can't disagree with that. This thing's fucking fantastic. I really hope that this movie like gets some sort of traction or something, because not only is it's a great movie, but it's saying things that I think need to be said, and that certainly don't get said in movies a lot, let alone just in regular discourse. There's a lot of important ideas and uncoverings going on in this beyond just the serial killer stuff, because the serial killer stuff, that's just a catalyst of what the bigger overall problem of the area is. And yeah, Holy Spider is fucking fantastic.
So there's a lot of layers. There's all these themes that you were mentioning, Eric, with all these, there's a lot of things to cover in Holy Spider. With all that to cover, Bruce, do you still think that this movie works as just a pure entertainment thriller on a superficial level, or did you just find so much more to glean from Holy Spider?
I think it does work on, if you want to take it on the superficial level, I think it does work as that too, because it has a level of, I guess you could say on that level, it is sort of a cat and mouse movie to some degree, because you have the reporter Rahimi, Rahimi basically trying to figure out who this guy is and how to catch him, when it seems like the world isn't that interested in trying to catch him. And then on filmmaker side of things, I would say what's really great about this too, he was talking about Dahmer, and similarly this does some really interesting things. So for example, the pre-title sequence, and by the way, that title sequence comes out and it just puts you in an epic moment. Like you're just like, wow, this movie is going to be something. But before that, we have about 15 minutes maybe, where you're just following one sex worker as she's going around her night in the city, and you're getting to learn about her. And I didn't know anything about this movie going into it. I didn't read any blurbs.
No. Wow.
So I didn't know if it was going to be about her. So it's kind of great if you don't know that, but obviously it's kind of part of the thing, so people will know. But so I was following her, and you basically are just seeing kind of this gritty view of what it's like to be in this society, working at this level of society and how you're treated. And then the murder happens, and then the title happens, and you're like, oh wow, what is this movie? And it's really affecting. And I think, without getting into details too much, I think what really works amazingly in this movie, other than just all the social and religious and political stuff that just seeps into every pore of the events of this movie, the basic structure, which is kind of half with Rahimi and half with the killer. And with the killer, it's not like every time you see the killer, you're going to see him go do another killing, although that does happen. But it's kind of his time on screen is half family life and half killer life, and another half, because it's only 3 halves make a whole, right? Another half of the two kind of combining in some really creepy and really effective and amazing ways. And I think that by the time you get to the very end of this movie, it's chilling. It's like this honest, humorous, not humorous, and then absolutely chilling final moments of this movie are just jaw-dropping.
That's
I think
devastating.
this is a fine film. And I kind of slightly disagree about the violence aspect of this. I don't think this movie is really that violent compared to what we see as just popular entertainment. It seems more violent because the way it's unflinching and the way it's couched and making these real people. So, I mean, they're not obviously, but you care. They're not just cipher victims in a slasher movie. So it has a different effect on you. So the violence might seem more affecting to people or more disturbing to people because of that. And I think that's to its benefit. I mean, that's what it's trying to do. It's not just being fun. It's not just being exciting or thrilling. This has got a lot more going on in it. But like you said, or like you asked, it does work on that surface level as well. So I think it's just a great movie.
We have to mention Mehdi Bajestani. I believe I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He plays Saeed, the serial killer. He's also a family man. He's frustrated because of the politics of the area. He believes he's actually doing a good thing, cleaning the streets from this criminal element, right? Or they're not. They're pretty much demons to him, devils and whatnot. And this investigates so many different things. But I just hope that a lot of people will go in. Hopefully, it's like a storefront window. You get the window shoppers. If you just say, this is going to be a first-rate, entertaining thriller, by the seat of your pants thriller, you get them in, and then they get so much bang for their respective buck, in my opinion. Holy Spider. But yeah, look, the violence can be seen in different ways. It's just so realistic. Obviously, it's a good thing to warn people. Hopefully, the cinephiles can, if they can't stomach the scenes, understandably so, they can maybe close their eyes, look away, and then continue watching the movie, because this movie has a lot to say. Eric Holmes, before we started recording this interview, wanted to do a spoiler of Holy Spider, and I think down the road, whether it's today or maybe down the road, we'll talk about the ending of Holy Spider, which Bruce mentions is pretty devastating as well. I don't see any weaknesses regarding Holy Spider. Eric Holmes, Bruce, do you see any flaws, any things you want to nitpick at?
There's one, but we would have to wait for spoilers.
Oh, okay.
And it has nothing to do with the quality of the movie or where the movie goes. It was just kind of a choice that I thought was weird. But to explain that, I would have to do spoilers, and I don't want to do that now. So maybe later on down the road. But regardless, this movie's fantastic, and any hangups I have about it is far outweighed by the rest of the movie.
I am a critic. I'm a CCA voter. I'm a Critics' Choice member, okay, and I'm a voter. I am definitely going to push hard for Amir Ebrahimi as a Best Actress nomination. I hope she gets nominated. I also hope Mehdi Bajestani gets a nomination in the supporting category. I think he's fantastic in this movie, and this is actually one of my favorite films of the year. Just, it's hard to say favorite because of the subject matter. It is such a hard-hitting film, but for me, Holy Spider, right off the top, 5-star. I was going to say 5-star banger, but definitely 5-star rating for me regarding Holy Spider. Let's go to you, Eric Holmes, your rating on this film.
Yeah, it's also 5 stars. This thing just does everything, just nails everything, and it's yeah. I don't know what to say. I hope this movie does, and similar to The Long Walk, this movie and Long Walk, I think, are just 2 fantastic movies that hopefully come award time. These will be in the conversation, much like Parasite was, which is another fantastic movie. So
yeah, you mentioned The Long Walk and you mentioned Holy Spider. These are movies that it's like you go in the earth and you find some kind of gem or something. It's just a great find. And yeah, Amir Ebrahimi, I've never seen her in anything before. She's also has a magnetic presence. I want to see her in everything down the road right now, and I hope she gets all the acclaim and awards like she did over at Cannes. Bruce Perky, your rating on Holy Spider?
I am right with you. 5 stars.
Wow, 5 stars from Bruce Perky. 5 stars all around for Holy Spider. Again, it hits New York theaters this Friday, October 28th, and it hits LA on November 4th. It is not fair currently because I want it to be playing in as many theaters as possible. I guess one of the ways we can do it is with our small podcast. We could just bang on the drum and just really promote how awesome Holy Spider is. We'd love to hear what you guys think of this movie when it hits, whether it's streaming for you or in your local theaters. I personally think if it's in your local theaters, please go out and see this movie. As much as I like Black Adam makes a lot of money. And if you have some, I'm just saying, if you have one choice or the other, this is on a surface level a worthwhile thriller, but you're gonna get a lot more from this than just the entertaining thriller. So that is Holy Spider. It's such an amazing film.